half of the idiots in the audience were too busy themselves. They weren't watching the movie.
Vito, I think we're absolute creeps, apparently, according to
Yeah, I guess I'm just a creep, and I just wanted a duck and a lady to get it on. I mean...
You didn't want much, you know?
In a world filled with cinematic trash, it's easy to call out everything wrong with a movie. But what if we forced that lazy film criticism to stop hating on movies? What if they were forced to love them? We grabbed two of the most negative neck-bearded film critics on the internet and forced them to watch some of Hollywood's greatest dumpster fires. They'll go head-to-head, competing to see who can most convincingly defend these cinematic piles of Each man must fight to overcome his hatred, learn to love each wretched film, and confidently declare to the world that it is the best movie ever.
Best movie ever is going to be part of my new movie channel, Movie World, where we only talk movies. So hit that subscribe button, that bell for all alerts, and then smash that like button and leave a comment down below with the movie you want to torture us with next. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Movie World. I am Andy Signore, and I'm here with my man, Vito. What's up, Vito?
How's it going, Andy?
I'm going great. I'm excited because we have another surprise this week. Ooh, and Vito doesn't know what it is. Yes. Well, I can say before we even get to the surprise, I was saying, look, Vito and I were still unsure of our order, but I said, you know what? Let's just wing it. Get it? Because we're doing Howard the Duck. And yes, you can expect a lot of foul puns this episode.
It's quite a foul pun.
I'm excited. Look, a lot of people
might just turn tail and run.
Wow.
That doesn't work as well.
Look, a lot of people give this movie a bum rap, but I think there's plenty to talk positively about it. All right, well, Vito, I'm not going to bury the lead on this one. I am so honored that we have a special guest this episode.
I'm excited.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're watching Howard the Duck. It's only fitting if we invite Howard the Duck himself, Mr. Ed Gale. Are you there,
Are
sir?
you kidding me? No way.
Ed Gale is here! Yes! How cool is this?
God.
Mr. Ed Gale, if you aren't familiar with Mr. Ed Gale, not only was he the stunt, but the man behind the suit in Howard the Duck, he's also Chucky in Child's Play. He was in Spaceballs. I mean, Ed Gale has such an illustrious career. It's an honor to have you, sir. You also, I got to cut to the clip. I got to work with Ed before, and what a pro. He played Toad in a Super Mario sketch we did parodying the Don't Tase Me, Bro. Cue the clip.
Are you getting this? They're arresting me. For what? Whoa. Don't tase me, bro. It's cool. Don't tase Toad. I'm just going to go over here.
God, I remember that. All right.
How do you look upon the film? Do you, because, look, a lot of people knock this movie. Wasn't received when it came out. It was ahead of its time, I would declare it. How do you look back on it now? Do you find it more in the best movie ever category or the worst movie ever category?
Neither one. It was just a movie that, if you can critique Howard the Duck, Pee Wee Herman, Spaceballs, that kind of thing, you're an idiot. You can't, which is just that word alone, critique. You cannot critique a bowl of Jell-O. That's
well
one
said.
thing. There's never any bowls of Jell-O on Chef Ramsay. You know what I'm saying? And because of George Lucas's immense successes with Star Wars and graffiti and all that, they were looking to knock him down.
It always happens when you get too big. They just want to knock you down. But Ed, I'm so happy to have you here. You will be the judge. The way the show works is Vito and I will compete. We each have 5 points. We can't use the same point, so whoever grabs it first gets to get credit for that point. We will be each giving 5 points of positivity to declare Howard the Duck the best movie ever. You will be the judge. I will come back to you between rounds to get your insight as well. Now, the way we go on who goes first is whoever won last week. And Vito, I'm happy to say, finally, without any trickery, I won 56% to 43%.
Oh, it was that close.
Yes, I beat you easily. Yes. So you get to decide, Vito. Do you want to go first or second this week?
Oh, you're letting me decide.
You get to decide.
Oh, because I lost, right?
Yeah, you lost. You want to go first or second?
Yeah, I'm going to go first.
I would hope. I think that is the way to go.
The reason that Howard the Duck is the best movie ever, and I think hands down, no one can disagree with this, is the fantastic special effects from Industrial Light and Magic. I mean, these are the guys who made Star Wars, and George Lucas clearly brought them in to deliver on Howard the Duck. And it's just great to see these classic, both practical and, whatever kind of special effects they're putting together. It's like a mix of these different styles. It all really works for me. At the beginning of the movie, when Howard gets pulled into space and we're seeing him rushing past all the planets, when we meet the evil, what was the main bad guy, the Dark Overlord or something?
Yes.
Well, yeah.
Dr. Gannon.
Yeah, and they have the crackling electricity all up and down his body, and he's shooting energy waves. And then at the end, I mean, you get some classic Hollywood monster stop motion, the big monster at the end, again, using like classic stop motion effects to bring it to life. Yeah. And all of it just really worked for me. It was beautiful.
Well said. I had that on my list, of course. I think it is one of the obvious, that finale with the practical effects, and you got to give Phil Tippett massive props. I was going to go a little deeper than Vito did, but Phil Tippett did RoboCop. He was a dinosaur expert on Jurassic. He did the stop motion in Star Wars. That finale at the end with it does look great, and there's a lot of fun effects throughout the film, so I can't knock it. Ed, I imagine you agree. The ILM effects is definitely something that saved the film in your eyes, correct?
No.
You didn't like the effects?
Oh, no, I liked it, but I didn't save it.
Yeah, I was going to say, save it is a little bit of a strong judgment.
All right. Well,
the effects are pretty great, though.
We're here to Ed doesn't have to be positive at the film, but Vito and I do. We're being judged on how positive we are.
I'm very positive. I mean, we're 30-some years into it, and I'm still getting paid, so.
I can't argue with that. Yeah.
Well, no, I can't get paid if it doesn't make any money.
So we'll keep it positive. All right. Well, Vito, I accept your first answer. That is a solid answer. But I think you buried the lead on that one because I didn't hear you specifically call out what I thought you were going to go with, which, without a doubt, is the number one best thing about Howard the Duck, which is Howard the Duck. Howard the Duck in itself as not only just an effect, but a character, its performance between Ed Gale and the voice. There's a lot of so much trickery and things that are coming together, and this was so ahead of its time. Putting together this live-action creature, you live or die by it. And the fact that they were able to do it amongst so much trouble. I heard, Ed, half the time you couldn't see anything of what you were doing, and to know that you were hitting those marks and you were feeling up Lea Thompson, all this stuff was happening with this character to make it so much more believable, more fun, more amazing. And this was 1985. This was like pre-Ninja Turtles, and when a lot of this stuff was sort of finally getting to take off. To see such a first of its kind, yes, ILM, but so much more than just the ILM effects in general. I'm talking about the fact that they were able to have a remote-controlled, motorized creature that felt realistic, was able to work through all its trouble and make the mouth eventually get there through all the sync trouble they had to do. At the end of the day, they did pull it off in my eyes. It is a wonderful character. It looks so much fun. Ed brings so much to it. So many people brought a lot to it, let's be fair, but I do believe Ed brought a lot to it. What do you think, Vito?
That was definitely on my list. One thing I would also bring up is that they got, like a real voice actor to do the voice. Nowadays, you just pick some random Hollywood star and have him kind of limp it in. But here they found somebody who really, I think, helped bring Howard to life. And, of course, Ed Gale, our buddy in the suit. I mean, together, the two of them in tandem it was a fleshed-out character. I mean, you bring up Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which I think kind of drew from that. The idea of, can you make these, cartoon-looking characters, make them exist in a realistic universe? And Howard the Duck, it makes it work. You believe that he's really there. It doesn't look like a junky suit. It's very expressive and real. I really enjoyed that.
And the man's here behind it. And I heard it cost $2 million to make this with all the labor and everything. Tell us a bit about it, Ed. What was it like being in that suit?
Well, yeah, because all the movies that you've seen up until then were puppets, hardwired. You could only shoot them from the waist up, or far away, or like E.T., a far enough way shot.
Mm-hmm.
They had a little person in E.T. for, little bits and pieces. Well, I played the entire character of Howard the Duck, and I did my own, most of my own stunts. I'm a wimp. Don't kid yourself.
Did you have to master quack fu? Did they teach you in the art of quack fu?
They did.
Okay.
They did. Is he buying this, Andy?
Yes,
is he buying
totally.
this? I'm an idiot. I buy anything. I'm like, yeah, of course.
Just own it. Yeah.
Well, I have to definitely give that round to Andy.
Whoa! Yeah, he's already announcing winners.
Oh, come on.
Yes.
Well, yeah, because it's you. Because he led with you.
Tito, no, because Vito. I said Tito. There you go. And I was one of the first autonomous creature where I could smoke a cigar, I could run and jump and not have to worry about the cables. The only thing we had to worry about was remote control interference because we were shooting at a naval base, and Howard would just constantly just start doing things and one of the eyes opened up so wide it ripped.
From radio interference?
Not for me. I heard the humming and the buzzing, and the motors would get hot against my skin. I had beautiful 22-year-old skin then. Now I'm 25, and so it doesn't look as good.
Right.
19 different heads at $50,000 each.
Jesus.
Wow.
And they billed Lucas, of course, because you're spending somebody else's money. But what we used to call the duck butt was those little paper masks with elastic on them. All they did is cut the elastic off and cover them with feathers, and they charged $1,500 each.
Of course.
Everybody in Hollywood knows how to get paid, I guess.
Now you know how to make a suit, too. I love it.
Yeah.
And George Lucas originally wanted to do the cartoon.
Really?
I read that, yeah.
Yes. Universal had a deadline, and they wanted a summer blockbuster. And there's no way you can do a cartoon will take at least 3 years.
Right.
And
they actually did a very good job, but it must have cost them a fortune. Just all the effects and everything. It's crazy.
They gave us, like I was there. I mean, like I was writing the checks. They gave them $28 million to make Howard the Duck, and he spent 51.
Wow. Yeah.
He knew how to spend it.
We had a 10-week shoot schedule. We shot for 10 months.
Jeez. Well, I love Ed revealing the points. Let's save who wins until the end now. You can give your feelings, but we'll save the final reveal at the end of this. But Vito, now we're going back to you for your number 2.
Number 2 reason why Howard the Duck is the best movie ever. 2 words, I'm going to give them to you. Lea Thompson. My God. How can you not love this actress? And Andy's mad because that was definitely on his list. He knows I stole it from him. For those of you who might not remember, she was Lorraine in Back to the Future, Marty's mom. A great actress, a great talent. I mean, watching this movie, I want to see more of her. Obviously, the time for that maybe has passed, but she's so fun in this movie. The way she interacts with Howard, she has such a great, fun, bubbly attitude. She's this classic 80s rocker chick. She's got the fashion and the hair and everything else. And I really just enjoyed everything about her. She was a shining highlight of the film. If anything helps make it work. I mean, if you'd cast that role wrong, this movie would have been an even complete disaster. I think she's one of the things that really makes it work. So I was happy to see her. Again, she's a shining light in the star in the movie. Occasionally, you get a couple glimpses of her butt, which I got no problem with. That's a big plus for me as well. So, Lea Thompson, fantastic work and a great part of this movie.
Yeah, I shake my head because you're absolutely right. I can't dispute. I don't know how I'll win this round because she was my number 2. Because I agree with you. She's fantastic. She makes it all believable. She's lovable. She's sexy. She's badass. She covers it all. So
she's great.
She's just so likable.
Fantastic in this movie.
I'm always been a fan, but I think this one really showcases her. And the other thing I love about her in this movie, not that I keep helping you with your point, but she just commits to it. She commits to it, but only not commit, but still to this day. Like, this could be one of those movies that other hoity-toity actresses would be like, oh, I'm so embarrassed by that stupid movie where I slept with a duck. But no, she loves it. She embraces. She's still doing cons, right, Ed? She's still out there with you, I see, doing appearances and stuff. I applaud the fact that she knows where her bread is buttered. She knows the fans love it. She seems like a wonderful person. She is such a good part of this movie.
It was a great performance. Yeah.
Was she as fun to work with, Ed?
She taught me a lot. As you know, Howard the Duck was my very first anything. My first audition, my first rejection, my first callback, and then my first booking. So she taught me a lot.
Oh, that's great.
Helped me a lot. Jeffrey Jones helped me, the director, of course, helped me. The producer didn't help me, Gloria Katz. She didn't like me at all.
That's awful.
I love. He's like, F her.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Why would she not like you? You're Howard. She was.
She wanted a different person, and she didn't get him. So.
But let me go to my number 2. On the heels of that, Vito, I got to go Jeffrey Jones. Look, this is a cast movie, and you don't have it work without Jeffrey Jones as the villain. He gives such another performance that was similar that I realized took so much from him was Vincent D'Onofrio in Men in Black as Edgar.
Give me sugar.
You can watch that performance and realize, wow, he took a lot from Jeffrey Jones's character.
What do you think you'd like to eat?
I no longer need human food.
To go from the Ferris Bueller sort of, principles, what we sort of always knew Jeffrey Jones
stick
as,
in the mud.
and turn him into this like crazy, slapsticky, completely physical performance that he gives, coupled with the effects and the prosthetics. At one point, he looks like Dr. Wily from Mega Man, which I loved. He makes it funny, still slightly scary, and then at the end when he is freed of it, you feel for him, sort of like a Dozer Ghostbusters moment. I thought what could have been a really stupid and silly performance, Jeffrey Jones really pulled it off, proving he was a really fantastic 80s actor that that we can't deny.
Yeah, no, it was solid performance. I got no problem with it.
All right,
I agree with you both.
You're all right. Good. We both gave good acting performance notes. I think
both had an actor thing. One of the other great reasons why it's one of the best movies ever is if you're a big fan of the 80s, the fashion, the look, everything. This is just a great 80s movie. I especially love all the costumes and clothes in this movie. Again, you get to see Lea Thompson. She's in this cool, I don't know, kind of punk rocker band. You get to see all the other punks with their crazy 80s leather jackets driving their motorcycles around. But even like later on, at one point, a bunch of truckers are giving him a bunch of trouble, and they've got the classic 80s trucker logo with the trucker hats on. It's such a great throwback. And I even loved Howard the Duck's outfits. He's got some cool clothes. Something about the fashion in this movie, I'm like, I wish people still wore cool stuff like this. I kind of wanted to cop some of Howard the Duck's fashions.
You took another one of mine. It's a total 80s movie between the, all the 80s punks, wardrobe. It is absolutely an 80s film, so now I can't use that point. So well, see why going first sometimes pays off, Vito. All right, Vito, you've done a good job stealing 2 of my number 1, 2, and 3s. So now I got to go a little outside the box, but I'm shocked we haven't said it already. Honestly, on some lists, this would be number 1, Vito. I'm just going to say it. Duck boobs. I mean, come on.
That was one of mine.
This movie,
one of mine.
as a kid, introduced, I was like, oh my God, look at those boobs on that duck. It was just such an odd choice. But I'm going to go beyond just the image of, there's a sort of an adult sort of nature to this film that is surprising, on top of the fact that it's really sort of a theme of like no discrimination. You can love who you want to love. They like sort of figure out this way to like, by creating, I'm going to pivot from duck boobs to something serious, but it is really sort of interesting how they sort of create this world with these ducks of like the fact that he does fall in love with this woman. And this fact that, look, one might say, oh, bestiality, this is awful. You can't endorse this movie. But no, he's a sentient being. He makes his own decisions. He can communicate. The fact that they were able to go to this place and have this sort of theme of, look, you can't help who you love. Some are going to scoff at the fact that Lea Thompson's hooking up with this duck, but no, they make it work. And I would argue they make it work right at the beginning by showing you those duck boobs, confusing you right out the gate, going, well, damn, that girl was hot. I guess, wow, and they can speak and they can give consent. All right, I guess this can happen. No discrimination here, baby, in Howard the Duck. Howard the Duck allows it to happen. Howard the Duck is a love story. Howard the Duck is sexy. I got to say, it blew me away. It was kind of shocking, Vito.
You just stole two of mine.
Yes.
Like, I'm scrambling now. I was like, you managed to somehow combine that. Not only is this the ultimate furry movie where we get duck boobs, we get, whatever, but it's like an anti-racism parable. I mean, it's almost like they're having an interracial romance, defying the odds and saying, we don't care what you think because our love is real.
But I mean, I wasn't even trying to steal 2 points. The more I thought about it, I realized the duck boobs in the beginning is what sets the tone for that, because it confuses you. And as a kid, it confused me. I'll be honest. I was like, are those real boobs? Were they fake? Ed, can you answer that? Do you know? Was that a real woman's boobs covered in white paint, or were those prosthetic boobs on a dummy? Do you have any illumination to the duck boobs?
That's Debbie Lee Carrington, who we lost a couple of years ago.
If you need any help with this one, give me a holler.
Debbie Lee Carrington.
Wow.
Yeah, you remember she stood up on the bar in Total Recall with the machine gun?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'm going to pull that clip. All right, that was her. Wow, awesome. So those were her real breasts?
Oh, yeah. Nothing.
All right, really?
Well, I mean, it was a suit over it. I mean, but it's the same thing.
Right.
If you would have, when you put a bathing suit on Pamela Anderson on Baywatch, which I had the pleasure of doing an episode. And,
I'll have to watch that one.
You put that orange suit on her, she still got boobs, and they say, well, they really hers. Well, yeah.
They took the mold
on her,
Yeah. Well, there you go. We cracked the secret of the duck boobs and Howard the Duck. But look, the duck boobs and Love Who You Want to Love, to me, was a legit surprise in this film that I have to give major props for. So sorry I took 2 of yours, Vito, but that's how this game. You took all practical effects, so sorry, I don't feel bad.
I mean, yeah, I should have. I should have
all practical effects.
The effects.
But so now we're even. All right, back to Vito for his number 4.
All right, well, I'm scrambling now, but I will give tribute to another great performance in this film. Let's be real. Who do we love? Tim Robbins!
Damn it!
Come on!
God damn it! He's taking all of mine this week. Go ahead.
You should have went early with Tim Robbins. You know I was going to bring up this man. Look, who doesn't love Tim Robbins? I don't know if you're a big Shawshank Redemption fan. A lot of people know him from that. But here we get to see him in a rare comedic appearance, I want to say. I don't know if he did a lot of comedy. I don't know his full filmography. But here it's really fun to see him as this nerdy scientist. Turns out he's more of a janitor than anything else, which Howard is not a big fan of. And I think he does a very good job playing this nerdy Phil Blumbert scientist guy who ends up, he's kind of obnoxious and too nerdy and they keep dismissing him, but ultimately he helps him out and kind of becomes part of the team. So just seeing Tim Robbins having a lot of fun with that role, I think it was a really good addition to this movie, and definitely part of what makes this the best movie ever.
It's true. We don't ever get
clearly
to see.
Agrees.
We don't ever get to see Tim Robbins in a role like this. I read because this was Tim Robbins' first movie, he embraced it. He's like, of course, I got paid well. I got to work with George Lucas. What it's not to love. So I love that he just leaned into it, had fun with it. We got to see him be slapsticky and funny. Tim Robbins was a lot of fun. How was Tim Robbins to work with, Ed?
He denied working on the film.
He did?
He didn't. No, he doesn't. Does he?
Well, until whatever his, financial situation is, I don't know. I know he's got more than me. But now he's doing conventions, and he will sign Howard the Duck stuff where he never would before.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. Well, see, let's remind you, Vito picked Tim Robbins, not me, just for the record.
What? I thought we don't like Tim Robbins because he doesn't go to the conventions? Look.
I'll take whatever I can.
He'll go to the conventions. He won't sign anything Howard.
That's
really?
He denies being in the movie.
You know what, Vito? Yeah, I think what a terrible choice. Tim Robbins is a jerk.
Hey,
what a grump. He doesn't associate with this film. What a
you
terrible
said it was on
actor
your
to bring
list.
up. Terrible to bring up.
Oh,
I would have never brought up
whatever.
the Tim Robbins connection.
You're not allowed to bring up what an actor's doing in his spare time to discredit. Come on.
All right, well, I'm going to go to number 4. We'll move on from Tim Robbins. What a terrible choice there, Vito. Number 4. Look, I think we're all getting now. This is where the show gets more interesting because we gotta really figure out. All right, well, what makes us positive? I'm going to go. Yeah. I'm going to go for something out there. Look, everyone gives Kevin Feige credit for what he did with Marvel, but all credit must go to George Lucas. This is the first Marvel movie. And they go out and do the complete unexpected. They do better than what Kevin Feige did. There were Captain America serials. There was a bunch of like TV movies, but feature-length Marvel movie. They went out the gate and created something bizarre. Everyone gives credit to James Gunn, to all these Marvel people, but Lucas came out the gate first investing in this live-action Marvel property, and he decided to do this weird, funky movie, a movie with duck boobs. Do you think Kevin Feige is ever going to show us duck boobs? Hell no. The fact that we were able to create this amazing sort of just time capsule and this investment in the Marvel comic, and, you know, is it the best adaptation? One would argue, but still, they took the bet. They put the money on it. And I got to say, that look, you got to give George Lucas credit. A lot of people want to knock him or say this was a bad choice, but he was ahead of his time. This was, you know, before all these huge, big Marvel comic adaptations were happening, and they made it. They did it, and they went weird and wacky, something that Marvel is always striving to do now with Thor Ragnarok and all the things they're doing. So you can't deny and give some props to the fact that Lucas grabbed the rights and made produced the first official Marvel feature film. To me is still something to say is positive. But I see Ed shaking his head. Ed doesn't like my point.
Yeah, Ed, what are you thinking here?
Howard the Duck, the film, was a Universal Studios George Lucas film. It was not a Marvel film in any sense of the word. And it was based on character by Steve Garber. It wasn't based on a character from Marvel. Of course, they credited Marvel because Marvel owned it at that point. Stan Lee hated Howard the Duck. He said, kill the cartoon, the comic, after the first or second episode.
Really?
Yeah.
So you don't consider Howard the Duck a Marvel character?
Yeah, but it was not a Marvel film.
Right.
Hey, but neither was.
I think that means Andy loses.
Neither was. They were all Paramount films in the beginning too. What's your point? There's still a Marvel comic book adaptation that someone put the money on the line to invest a vision of. And we could argue about who owns what. Who the hell knows who owns what anything owns? It's everybody. It's all three people own everything nowadays in the world of Hollywood we live in. But the fact that he took a comic book run by Marvel and put it on the screen is impressive.
I know that Frank Price, the vice president of Universal Studios, owned the right to make the movie Howard the Duck.
Yeah. I'm going to have to side with the
Howard the Duck is in Guardians of the Galaxy now. I mean, he's clearly back into Marvel's canon.
That was Seth trying to get his own movie made, Howard the Duck movie made.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So anyway,
anyone ever come to you and say you want to do a cameo?
Clearly, yeah. Oh, yeah. Have you ever talked to that? Was there any other sort of versions of Howard the Duck movies that you could have been a part of?
No. When you lose. When you spend $51 million to make a movie and you make 10 in the box office, you don't get a seat.
They don't come calling.
You don't get to go on a big tour.
But later there's the respect, right? Where you'd think Seth would be like, "Oh, Ed, I want you to be involved with the next version." Has there been anything like that?
I mean, a lot of dreamers, I guess.
Yeah.
The new watchword, a new catchword. But anyway. Those who say, when I grow up and I make a movie, I want to make Howard the Duck 2. And I said, it's going to be a lot more than writing it, honey. You're going to have to find somebody to pay off. And that's Disney, and you'll never afford it. When they paid $4 billion for Lucas, and then they paid $4 billion for Marvel.
Yeah.
So $4 billion seems to be the number right about now. And I don't.
I think $4 billion for Howard the Duck alone would be a bargain.
Hey, we just bought Amazon, bought MGM. You never know these days. All right,
I want a Howard the Duck cinematic universe. I want it now.
I can't argue with the man himself. I guess I'll lose that point, but I stand by it. They adapted the Marvel comic first, but Ed will be the
Which
ultimate
Stanley
judge.
didn't like, so maybe it's not a real Marvel comic. That's what I'm hearing.
If it was successful, I bet you they all would have liked it.
Well, that's true.
They all would have liked it.
Then they would have embraced it.
All right, Vito, your last point. Here we go, and then Ed will be an official judge based on all of our rounds. But go ahead, Vito.
Well, I had to save this one for the end because you always end with the most important bit, the ending, of course. What am I talking about? The end of this movie is fantastic. What a great finale to Howard the Duck. It is such a perfect Hollywood ending where all the evil has been vanquished. Howard decides to stay on Earth with his new love. And what do to celebrate? They rock out on stage. You got a duck with an electric guitar, and he's jamming out. The crowd's going wild. And what are they singing, Andy? Howard the Duck. Dude, that song rules. I was listening to it all night. That is a perfect ending to a film. The Howard the Duck theme song. Howard is rocking out. He's got his beautiful girl there with him. Everything's looking up for the sequel that we need and deserve as fans. I want one now. I loved that ending. Great energy, total fun, great way to end the movie. Just classic Hollywood 80s ending.
Yeah, I had that on my list as well. Damn it.
I knew you'd. Yep,
Damn it.
I'm getting them all.
It is a fantastic finale.
It's a great
theme 80s
song.
Finale. The theme song. You get the punk rock of Lea Thompson owning the stage. Howard accidentally getting on stage. Don't forget the whole finale before that. I mean, the movie ends strong. You can't deny it.
Yes. Ed, were you a big fan of the Howard the Duck soundtrack?
Yeah, were you on stage shaking on that scene? Were you part of that part?
I was part of that part, yeah.
They had you dancing?
Oh, yeah. No, everything was there and original and mine. Wasn't much choreography. And
Did they just kind of let you improvise up there?
I'm not talking down about the choreographer because it was choreographed with the girls and the lights. But as far as me dancing, the choreographer, wanted me to do what I can do. She doesn't understand dwarfism. And there's a lot of things we cannot do.
Right.
And there's over 200 types of dwarfism. I'm not going to get into that right now. And certain ones have joint problems. Elbows and joints.
Yeah, right.
Right. No, I'm serious, honestly. Just, no. And some have respiratory, as you can see, I do. And so she said, let's see what you can do. And she showed me what she wanted. And then I showed her how I can get there. No somersaults.
Right.
No trampolines. I don't have the spine for that. And I don't have the spine for a lot of things.
But you guys ultimately found something that worked for that scene?
You saw it.
Yeah, I thought it worked well.
And I put it. I've signed many autographs, and with the ones, my favorite one is when I signed Vito's name. No,
Tito.
When I say it all started with a duck.
Well, you got to give me an autograph at this point. I'm going to send away.
Yeah.
Where's the Howard the Duck fan club so I can get a signed headshot?
Well, you have a way to do it. I'll put the link, right? You have a company that helps you now put the autographs out, right, Ed?
Yes, RACC.
Oh, okay.
I'll put the link in the description. You can figure out a way to go order and get an autograph over from Ed because go support.
You can go to my autograph page.
Yeah. I'll get something framed for my room.
Go. I was going to promote them at the end to make sure, but yeah, we'll do it twice now. But make sure you go to links in the description. Go show Ed some love.
BS. Vito, you're going to have every stage of Leah's life in print, and I'm going to be the size of a stamp.
Yeah. I'm going to be like, I want Leah. We'll make a little room for Ed right here. Little thumb. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Little postage stamp.
Ed was in the movie, too. I don't remember.
Right. It's my shrine to Lea. To be fair, she's a good-looking gal. I mean, come on.
Go ahead. What were you going to say, Ed?
The only thing I have to say is I'm extremely disappointed that neither one of you mentioned.
We're not done yet. We're not done yet.
Still got one more.
I still got one more.
It's very possible that Andy might get there.
Oh, I don't know if I'm going to say it, actually. Let's see.
Okay.
Hold on. Let's see. I don't
Probably
think
gonna
I'm not. Now
he's all out of points at this point.
Now I'm like looking through my list like, crap, what did I, because I'm having trouble. What am I missing that he's mad we didn't do? Look, I actually really love the film. It's so much fun. But what's interesting about this film is I don't see it as a failure. But George Lucas did. And in finding failure, George Lucas managed to do something extremely positive. Without this film, Howard the Duck, did you know, Vito, we wouldn't have Pixar? He sold off.
Oh.
He sold off his animation company, the Graphics Group.
Right.
And they were struggling after this film. And I don't see it as a negative. I'm shocked this happened. But sometimes positives come from positives. And because he sold off the Graphics Group, guess who bought it? Sold the company to pay the bills to Steve Jobs,
right? Yeah.
Fresh from Apple, who snatched the company up and created what we now know as Pixar. So, look, I love the Duck. I don't have a problem with it. But to know that not only there was, people who looked down upon this film created all the Pixar movies and characters we know and love as well.
The first Pixar movie.
It is the first Pixar movie in a while. And so, I think the computer graphics and everything were amazing. You touched upon it a bit. The practical effects are amazing, but all the effects do really work. You didn't mention earlier, I'm not trying to steal your point, but God, that scene in the diner where he's like using the force to push all the objects away from the doors and stuff. Like, it was cool as shit. Like, the effects were amazing. So I'm glad the effects team, while seemingly failure, they were like the Phoenix from the ashes. Were like, no, we aren't done. We still have good in us because we did good here. We're gonna keep. And they went on to make damn Pixar. That is a way you end this.
They probably developed techniques during the movie that would then later be seen in future.
So
projects.
you got look. I think because there's a rule. Don't use like, oh, the movie's so bad and they never did it again. No. I think the effects were so good that they were profit. They were like, well, I got this profitable thing at least. That was a good part of this. What can you do with it? And then it accrues and continues to make brilliance through the films of Pixar. I mean, who knew? Howard the Duck gave us so much joy. You probably didn't even realize. I got to say that's a major positive as to why this film really is the best movie. We wouldn't have had Pixar without the effects of Howard the Duck. That's how I'll end on my last point. So there we did it. All right, now Ed. What was the one point no one mentioned? Go ahead. What were you gonna tell us?
Soundtrack, music.
Ah, damn it! I had that on the list. Damn it!
Well, I mentioned the final song,
Thomas Dolby,
which was the one I really liked.
Yeah, damn it!
But it still wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't the whole soundtrack.
God damn it! I had it and I took it off because you mentioned the song at the end. I was like, he covered the 80s, he covered the song. But yeah, you're right, Ed. Thomas Dolby.
Mentioned the rest of the soundtrack is solid.
It's fantastic. Go ahead, Ed. You were saying. Yeah, that's a big part of the movie for you?
Well, no, it just wasn't mentioned. And the 5 points, it should be, like what? Song, dance, wardrobe, acting, the 5 points. There's your 5 points. But anywho, that's my opinion. And it means nothing.
It means everything. All right, now here's where it is. We've both given you our 5 points. To reiterate, here's what we had. Vito's 5 points were special effects from Industrial Light and Magic, the practical special effects and the finale stop motion. It's Lea Thompson, the great 80s movie with the costumes and such. Tim Robbins' performance, who you didn't like, and the ending, which was a great finale. My 5 were these: the fact that Howard the Duck himself, the star of the show, the apparatus that made you such a star. We got to give that the first and foremost proper due, as well as Jeffrey Jones was my second point, along with the fact that, duck boobs, leading to no discrimination, love who you want to love, such an important part. First Marvel movie, we had some disagreements on that, but George Lucas adapted at least the Marvel comic for the first time. We got a big budget comic book movie to that extent, so it's even pre-Batman. And then on top of that, we had the fact that this was without it, we wouldn't have had Pixar. Brilliant effects. Brilliant effects. There's no knocking what the effects team did, but to see that they were able to jump from this amazing work to create Pixar, which we know and love, just shows you what an amazing film this is. So those are I think I got all my points in there. Those are all the points. Ed, now we go to you as the judge. You can reveal your ruling.
Best points.
Who was the most positive, and exactly, who declared Howard the Duck the best movie ever?
So much wrong. misinformation.
Did we really fail this one?
Well, because Gloria Katz and Willard Hike were married couple.
Yeah.
She recently passed away. They approached George because they wrote Indiana Jones, Temple of Doom, and they wrote some of the Star Wars pieces and stuff like that. So they approached him. My only negative in that movie was the script. No.
The whole backbone of it.
The whole movie.
My only negative was Willard Hike, writer-director, tried to put too much in the movie. If you're going to be a horror movie, be a horror movie. You give us the monster to scare the hell out of the kids. Then you give this non-sex scene that only pubescent teenage boys saw.
Right.
Because no one is looking on the screen. During that bedroom studio apartment scene, I hadn't met my husband yet, but he said that he was really jealous of Lea. and he wasn't even old enough to. Anyway, but
he was jealous that she got with the duck.
No, he loved Howard the Duck. He just loved it.
Oh wow!
And she had no right. And anyway, the thing about everybody mentions bestiality. If you say it enough times, you will see it.
Yeah.
But he's a sentient being. He makes his own choices.
Yeah. He can give consent. He can give informed consent. That's what all that matters. Yeah.
No, he didn't. See, what are you idiots watching?
What do you mean? He didn't. He said he clearly went along with it. He agreed to it.
I mean, you've seen the movie far more than us, but I didn't get that
him
vibe.
to do anything.
He was the one who mentioned it, not her. He
was saying this might be too much, but ultimately I think he wanted it.
He said maybe it's not a man you're looking for. She looks right in the camera and rolls her eyes like, oh, this is going to be good. That takes sex, everything off the table. But half of the idiots in the audience were too busy either touching themselves or looking at it. They weren't watching the movie. So she said, so, do you think I could find happiness in the animal kingdom? And then he starts backpedaling.
Yeah.
And then it never happened. She kissed him on the forehead, good night, whatever, silly.
But you don't think after the movie ends, they eventually probably made something happen?
I saw him as being sort of shy and inexperienced and nervous, not like, oh my God, this is an abomination.
No, he's narcissistic.
I think that at some point,
when you were playing the character, you guys weren't imagining that he was falling in love with her?
No.
Wow.
You do not think Howard the Duck was in love with her?
Not.
It was more of a friendship?
Vito, I think we're absolute creeps, apparently, according to
Yeah, I guess I'm just a creep, and I just wanted a duck and a lady to get it on. I mean, I guess something's wrong with my head. What can I say?
You didn't want much,
Well, we were very excited by those duck boobs, Ed. So
when she pulled that duck sized condom out of his wallet, I was like, all right, now we got a movie.
And what idiot carries a condom unwrapped?
Well, that's true. I was like, Howard, what are you doing, buddy? Not a good idea.
No, it's not safe at all. Well, we don't know how it works, how STDs work in duck world, but yeah, I agree. It seems a little off. All right, well, Ed, based on so it looks like you're struggling with some of our Well, based on what we did say though, who is the lesser of the two evils here? Who do you think should be declared the winner here?
Me.
That's a given.
The clear winner would be the character, not me. Howard the Duck. Number 2 of the 2 people that I have to work with.
Yeah, these 2 dummies.
These 2 idiots.
Andy.
Oh, come on!
Yes!
No way!
Yes!
You were too focused on See, Lea is a lady to me, okay? She's...
Yeah, you sexualized her.
I grew up with her. She taught me how to act. and how to, do what I needed to do. We worked together again on Little Rascals, and
Vito got creepy and made it too sexy with Lea Thompson. I felt. I respect that.
She's being sexy in the movie. It's not my fault.
But
she's barely.
Have you seen her this year?
I would like to. I haven't seen her in a while.
Identical.
Yeah,
identical.
Ageless. Yeah, she's like, she's
you
still
can't
stunning.
tell me I'm a creep for sexualizing when halfway through the movie she rolls over and your underwear is hanging. Come on! What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to sit there and go, well, this is a very interesting plot line we have going
Plus,
here.
she's got that like midriff. Like, who sleeps in that sexy outfit? Yeah. Anyway, go on, Ed.
Quite all right. Well, my manly desires have done me in this time. It sounds like.
Well, let me boost your manly desires.
Okay.
There was a scene where Lea was sitting on the bed about this. So do you think you think we could do this or whatever? And she starts to lift up her shirt.
Right.
And I stop her and say, no. I can't see. I do everything. I do everything by feel. Shut up. I do everything by rehearse backwards.
Right.
And then go forward. Well, I missed her arms the first time.
Ooh.
And that shit right up. I think it happened so fast. I know I didn't see anything.
Right.
Everybody else was like, oh my God, you got to see her. I said I didn't see shit. I saw the inside of a costume head.
Right. Everybody else got a show. Now, is that scene perhaps included in any deleted
Why is it that on the 4K is what Vito's asking?
Yeah, I mean, they got a 4K release coming. I just like to see behind the scenes, what goes on.
Just the blooper of it, yeah.
Yeah, blooper.
I would dare say that Lea would have license over what was released.
That would make sense, I would hope.
Fair. Don't be a
At
creep.
that point in her career, I mean, my God, she's done so much.
Yeah.
Even before.
Well, she's great in this movie. She's fantastic.
I dare you to go to a con, Vito, and ask
fun.
her, hey, do you have that footage where you took your top off?
I don't think she wants to hear that from
I'd
me.
love to see it.
I don't think she wants that.
I want to see you ask her.
Ed told me that there might possibly be, maybe you put it in a
Yeah, I
vault
heard from my
somewhere.
friend Ed Gale. Yeah, please.
Yeah, my good friend Ed.
Jeez.
He said you might have it. I don't know.
I'm
sure she'd really enjoy that.
Let's just say, when I'm dead and gone, go to my auction.
I'll be there. I'm excited.
Well, Ed, I am honored you declared me the winner. I will accept your prestigious award.
Right.
Thank you so much. But for real, the winner here today is Mr. Ed Gale. Vito, how cool was it to have this legend with us?
I'm humbled.
I want to promote Ed. Where can fans find you? You have a Facebook group page still, right? You have I'll put all the links that Ed's promoting right now in the description. So go show Ed some love. But Ed, where would you like to send fans? What would you like to tell your fans? The floor is yours.
For everyone who says they want to be an actor, enjoy making the tips at your local restaurant, because if you want to, you're never going to be. I never said I wanted to be an actor. I said I was going to be, and I did. And people say, I dream about being an actor. Well, I said, in order to dream, you have to be asleep. I say, wake up and make it happen.
Very well said.
It's the facts. Do it. Don't talk about it. Do it.
Day.
Well, I mean, look. Anyone that can hear me, hello, anyone who can hear me. I started off in the business at 3'4" tall. I'm probably 3'3" now, and definitely 3 feet wide. If you're like 5'10", 6 foot, 180 pounds or whatever, strapping, good looking, good shape, you can lift a tree, the whole shit like that. Don't tell me don't tell me you can't do this or you can't do that. Look what I did.
Yeah. If you can do it, anybody can get it done.
Yep. Facts.
Just got to really believe.
Anybody can get in the business. Staying in the business is the challenge.
Well, you did it, sir, and you have a fan base. You have amazing roles. I mean, just scoring Howard the Duck would have put you in a league of your own. But the fact that you were able to keep that going, Chucky, everything else that you were put together, Yeah, you had a lot of
everything.
Had a lot of fun, amazing stuff. I hope let's stay in touch. Let's talk. We should do we'll have to pick a Child's Play movie at some point too.
Yeah.
But Ed, so amazing to have you. People can find you online again. The links are down there. Go get an autograph from Ed.
Facebook and Instagram. I want to know how many people watched this episode. So write to me and saw this episode.
Go write him so he knows that we're popular. No, we'll see. Yeah. But go show him some love.
And maybe tell him that Vito actually won and that he was wrong. Something you could mention.
I'm so glad you let Andy win because Andy was the best one.
No.
I would like to recant.
Well, guys, we got so many more of these coming. We're going to keep going with best movie ever, but we need your suggestions. Go down in the comments and tell us what worst movie you would like us to turn into the best movie. But we will see you guys next time on Best Movie Ever! We'll see you next time. Thank you for watching, everybody. Bye! Wow, that was fun.
Everybody.